Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Loom. Well, we're trapped in this prison, locked, and me without a distaff. Exactly, we won't be able to just open this door, and not much else to do here. So let's take a look at this straw. Looks kind of comfortable. This straw must have a sleep draft spun into it. Can't do much without my distaff anyway. Hey, there's our friend the dragon. Maybe he'll bust us out of prison. We left on pretty good terms, right? Right? Imagine frightening a poor defenseless old thing like me. Honestly. Well, I may not be much good with fire, sweetie, but young firm meat is something I can really sink my teeth into. Huh? My robe's not reflecting anymore. Something must have happened to Rusty. Hope he's okay. Oh, Bobbin, always the optimist. And there's our distaff. Look at this. One stick of wood left. One! Uh-oh. Furnace won't keep much longer. No! 10,000 swords to forge, and the furnace almost cold. Here goes my new office furniture. Staff doesn't seem to like being in fire very much. That Weaver kid did this to me. Now I have to wait outside. If I ever get my hands on him... Okay. What'll you do exactly? Back to the pattern. That was easy. Pity that someone has to die for me to return. Dragon. Ah, poor child. Now where can Bobbin have gone? Couldn't be there. Those smiths are a suspicious lot. They'd never let a weaver inside. Uh-oh. Perhaps I ought to look into this. Yes, it looks like the staff is making the smoke turn into a flying swan. The things I go through. What would Elder Atropos say if he saw his distaff treated so? Got it. Mustn't singe the feathers. Gee, I wonder how my staff got here. Now I'm back in business. Yes, so first things first, let's turn this straw into gold. Guess my distaff still works. Yeah, so I suppose now that we've tested it, we'll actually go about escaping from the jail. Well, look at that. It's an empty bin. It's empty. Well, let's be nice and fill it up for them. Full as it can get. Yeah, even though they threw us in jail, might as well be nice and show them how much better off they'd be with the Weaver on staff. That's gonna be one nasty sword when he's done banging on it. Oh, hey. It's the bishop again. Let's go eavesdrop. Hard to be nosy with all this noise. Good thing they have to shout to hear themselves. The final blade is being sharpened even as we speak, Your Excellency. My most skillful blade shaper is seeing to it personally. Then this is an historic moment, Foreman Nailbender. Hey, it's Rusty's dad. The forging of the 10,000th sword marks the end of our preparations. How goes the sharpening, Edgewise? This metal is proud, Foreman. It does not yield easily. More sweat will soften it, I trust? It shall be a blade to be reckoned with. The Blade of Reckoning. I like it. It has a certain apocalyptic flair. I assume your blade shaper won't keep me waiting much longer? Does the metal yield, Edgewise? I shall pound it into submission. Or will you? Oh, come on. There it is. Let's unsharpen it. Harder pounding may shorten your labor. Our generous client grows impatient. Foreman, what evil is this? A witch's curse has befallen the blade. The edge has been mischievously blunted. A curse, Edgewise? I think not. I'd hate to believe that a witch's curse could so thoroughly ruin my schedule. You don't suppose that fellow who's been spying on us has anything to do with it? Perhaps he'd care to accompany me back to my cathedral. Uh-oh. I may have new curses to teach him. Oh, well, that's what I'd expect from a clerics guild. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Bishop Mandible, transultimate apostle of the anti-secular conclave of clerics. Am I supposed to kneel or something? Silence, prisoner! My assistant, Cobb. Charming. Your cloak and staff betray your origin. I studied the lore of your guild at university. It's been quite a long time since any weaver dared to set foot off that dreary rock you call home. Loom, so provincial. I can't help but wonder what impelled you to leave it now. His Excellency asked you a question. I know. I'm ignoring it. Ah, recalcitrance. I see. Shall I fetch the instruments of persuasion, Excellence? Forgive the hostility of my assistant. I fear Cobb is not very worldly. He does not realize how dangerous a weaver can be. Dangerous? Him? Do you think this iron cage of yours is enough to hold the boy captive? Why, he could burst it wide open with hardly a second thought. But, Excellence, I inspect the locks every Tuesday. Observe and learn, my servant. Even now, your prisoner plans his escape. Well, yeah. It's a cage. I can easily open that since you didn't bother to take my distaff away. You see, Cobb, an elusive breed, these weavers. Luckily, they are quite helpless without their weaving sticks. Give me that. You dare raise your voice at His Excellency? Now, Cobb, we mustn't be rude to our guest, not after he was kind enough to bring us such a magnificent gift. Mandible, that distaff will never work for you. You are wrong, my arrogant young friend. Come, let me show you why. You heard the exalted one. Move it. Consider the common graveyard. In a graveyard, the boundary between the living and the dead is indistinct. You weavers would say that the pattern here is fragile, thin as gauze. Not just here, every graveyard is like that. I suspected as much. Now imagine what might happen if this delicate boundary was somehow breached. Torn open, so to speak. Forget it, Mandible. You can't just rip the pattern apart like an old rag. But I can. All I require is a weaver's distaff and the 4 threads of an opening draft. Thank you for supplying both so readily. When the boundary is breached, the dead will stream back onto the plane of the living, eager to reclaim their place among us. And I will be waiting for them, ready to offer my vast expertise in spiritual leadership. I shall preside over a teeming multitude of restless shades, immortal, invincible, an army of the dead, with myself as its supreme commander. An army nourished by the meat of the shepherds, armed with the swords of the blacksmiths, and guided by the sphere of the glassmakers. I was preparing to invoke the dead by other, more forceful means. Then the glassmakers delivered my sphere. It foretold your convenient arrival. Now it shows me the smiths repairing the sword you tried to ruin. The age of the clerics will soon be upon us. Cobb, don't let him out of your sight.
I won't, Excellency.
And don't let him touch anything. Lord Mandible, ruler of the universe. Time to change my stationery.
Not so dangerous now, are you?
Aww. A beast. Looks hungry. Well, once again, I'm stuck without my distaff. Well, let's take a look in here. Maybe it'll tell us what to do. Keep away from that, you. His Excellence said not to touch anything. Oh, I wasn't going to touch it. Just looking. That's all. Just looking, eh? Tell you what. I'll let you look into the sphere if you let me look at something. What did you have in mind?
Legends say it is death to gaze upon a weaver uncloaked.
Naturally, we clerics pay little heed to such foolish rumors. Still, I'm curious. I'll let you look into the sphere if you let me lift your hood. Deal? I wouldn't try that if I were you.
Why not? There's nothing to fear under that fine robe of yours, is there?
If you fear nothing, then you'd better not touch me.
Ah, a riddle. I like riddles.
Let's answer this little riddle once and for all, shall we?
Fools! How am I supposed to invoke the dead with all that screaming in there? Layman.
Can't say I didn't warn him. Yes, that's the part where if you're playing on expert mode, you'll get to see a little bonus and get to see what's under the hood. But we're not, so we'll have to save that for a bonus video. Alright, there's that swan again. We know the spell, dear. You don't have to do that every time. Let's look a little further. Yum. We'll get a nice turkey dinner. And a black feather. Okay, well, other than the terror spell, we haven't got much out of these spheres. Well, let's talk to him in the next video. Later.